That's good for 10 points. What common idiom has been very roughly restated below? A member of the taxonomic order Diptera in the ungent. Patrick from Lakota East.
A fly in the ointment.
A fly in the ointment is correct. Here's a bonus question. Check your monitor here in the studio. 2 Central American countries were particularly hard hit by a hurricane in late September and early October. Thousands were flooded out of their homes. About a dozen people were killed. What was the name of the hurricane? Nick from Lakota East.
Hurricane Mitch.
And that is incorrect. Let me finish the question for Beavercreek. What was the name of the hurricane which caused so much damage in Nicaragua and Belize? It was Hurricane Keith. Mr. Doolittle has emus and ostriches in his bird farm in the ratio of 4 to 5. Of the 81 birds in the farm, how many of them are emus? Patrick from Lakota East.
36.
36 is correct. Workers in many companies receive extra compensation in the form of paid vacations and medical insurance. What are these benefits called? Evan from Lakota East.
Incentives?
That's not what we were looking for, no. Beavercreek, a chance to steal. Ravi.
Perks?
No, those are fringe benefits. They are both, but we were looking for a specific thing, so fringe benefits. Which form of government was abolished from Japan in 1868? Nick from Lakota East.
Monarchy.
No, that's incorrect. Let me finish the question for Beavercreek. Was it the Diet, the Shintoism, the shogunate, or democracy?
The shogunate.
Steve.
The shogunate.
Shogunate is correct for 10 points. Complete this exhortation uttered during the Battle of Bunker Hill. Don't fire. Steve from Beavercreek.
Until you see the whites of their eyes.
That's correct for 10 points. The clownfish hides among the spines of a sea urchin to avoid predators. The sea urchin is completely unaffected by the presence of this fish. What type of symbiotic, Steve from Beavercreek?
Mutualism?
No, that's not what you're looking for. Let me finish the question for Lakota East. What type of symbiotic relationship does this illustrate? It illustrates commensalism is what we were looking for. Fossil evidence indicates that the extinct nautiloids were very primitive ancestors of what living sea organisms? Evan from Lakota East.
Octopus?
Yes, squids or octopuses. That's correct for 10 points. Fission is allowed to occur under controlled conditions in what part of a nuclear reactor? Patrick from Lakota East.
The core.
The core is correct. 2 important wars occurred during the reign of Queen Victoria. Steve from Beavercreek.
Crimean War?
The Crimean War is correct. That's what we were looking for. One was the Boer War. We were actually looking for the Crimean War. That's correct for 10 points. Who succeeded Indira Gandhi as Prime Minister of Steve from Beavercreek?
Rajiv Gandhi.
Rajiv Gandhi, her son, is correct for 10 points. What adjective describes the type of ion that results when an atom gains 1 or more electrons? Ravi from Beavercreek.
Anion?
No, that's not what we were looking for. Lakota East, chance to steal. Patrick.
Negative.
Negative is correct for 10 points. According to plate tectonics, South America was at one time joined to what other continent? Patrick from Lakota East.
Africa.
Africa is correct. The graph that represents the changes of state of a particular substance is called is it a heating curve, an expansion curve, or a diffusion curve? Patrick from Lakota East.
Expansion curve.
That's incorrect. Beavercreek, chance to steal. Ravi.
Heating curve?
Heating curve is correct for 10 points. Barney uses 1/16 of a pound of paper every time he arrests somebody. He has 9 pounds of paper. This will last him for how many arrests? Patrick from Lakota East.
144.
144 is correct. What word refers to either an organic oxide used as a general anesthetic or an imaginary substance once assumed to fill? Patrick from Lakota East.
Ether.
Ether is correct. This line is from a poem about what? It fell to earth, I know not where. Patrick from Lakota East.
An arrow.
It's about an arrow, that's correct. How many presidential electors are authorized in the United States? Didn't get the buzz in time. The buzzer came for the end of the round first, so we are at the end of a good game for round 1 so far. Let's check out the score. Beavercreek trailing Lakota East 100-60. We're back to meet our 2 teams right after this. Welcome back, everybody. We're one round deep into today's game as Lakota East goes for their third win in a row. They are leading Beavercreek right now, 100-60. Before we head into the bonus round, let's take a minute to meet our two teams, starting out on the top row with Beavercreek. Carolyn, you start us off. Introduce yourself.
I'm Carolyn Upham, and I'm a sophomore.
Hello, my name's Steve Fiore, and I'm a senior. My name's Ravi Shakar, and I'm a senior.
I'm Becky Johnson, and I'm a senior.
Okay, down on the bottom row from Lakota East, Patrick, start us off.
I'm Patrick Thomas. I'm a senior.
I'm Evan Floyd. I'm a senior.
Nick Culver, senior.
Ross Frischmuth, senior.
Okay. In the bonus round, we ask 10-point toss-up questions. Buzz in, give the correct answer. You get up to 3 more questions for as much as 30 additional points if you give those correct answers. So teams, if you're ready, here we go. Here's your first toss-up in the bonus round. What unit of measurement indicates the proportion of solid gold in an alloy-based, Steve from Beavercreek?
A carat?
A carat is correct, and bonus questions for the Beavers. These questions all refer to a specific Asian nation. For 5 points, Beavercreek. It was constructed in the 3rd century BC by the Qin Emperor Xin Huangdi to repel barbarian tribesmen. What is it?
The Great Wall of China.
That's correct. For 10 points, there are 2 names for the island stronghold of nationalist Chinese. What are they?
Taiwan and Formosa.
That's correct. And for 15 points, the People's Republic of China gave Sing Sing and Ling Ling to the Washington Zoo. What were they?
Giant pandas.
That's right. Correct. Nice job. 3 out of 3. Here's another 10-point toss-up question. What kind of verb expresses the idea of doing something rather than a state of being? Patrick from Lakota East.
Transitive verb.
No, that's incorrect. Beavercreek, a chance to steal Robbie.
An action verb?
An action verb is what we were looking for. That's correct. And bonus questions for the Beavers. For up to 30 points, answer these questions about the era of World War II. For 5 points, Beavercreek, Franklin Roosevelt's Day of Infamy speech was given in what year?
1941.
That's correct. For 10 points, Dwight Eisenhower led an army of 3 million men on D-Day. This invasion took place on the beaches of what part of France?
Normandy.
Correct. And for 15 points, in 1940, the U.S. agreed to send Britain 50 destroyers in exchange for rights to construct bases in the West Indies. What is the name of this agreement?
The Lend-Lease Act.
The Lend-Lease Act is correct. And now another 10-point toss-up. Both teams are involved. The name of the highest vertebra in the spinal column was taken from the name of the Greek god condemned to support the earth on his shoulders. Nick from Lakota East.
Titan.
No, that's incorrect. Let me finish the question for Beavercreek. It's condemned to support the earth on his shoulders forever. Name that mythical being, Steve.
Atlas.
Atlas is correct. And bonus questions for the Beavers again. For these bonus questions, you'll need to know a little bit about geology. For 5 points, what property of a mineral is actually the color of its powder?
We'll go with... luster.
That would be the streak.
Okay.
The streak. Another 10-point toss-up, both teams. What is the 3-letter name for a mineral spring supposed to have healing properties? 3-letter name is a spa, is what it's called. Which of the following African countries is geographically smallest? Is it Zaire, Nigeria, the Ivory Coast, or Sierra Leone? Patrick from Lakota East.
Sierra Leone.
Sierra Leone is correct, and bonus questions for the Thunderhawks. Here are some more questions relating to geology. For 5 points, Lakota East. Name the boundary in North America between the Pacific Plate and the North American Plate.
The San Andreas Fault.
That's correct. For 10 points, a crystal of Iceland's spar is placed over a line. The line as seen through this crystal appears to be double. This phenomenon is known as what?
Refraction.
I need more than that.
Dual refraction.
I'll give it to you. Double refraction. That's the same thing. For 15 points, what type of luster is associated with the mineral galena?
A green luster.
No, metallic luster is what we were looking for. Here's another 10-point toss-up. What courtship dance for a solo male is performed around the brim of a sombrero placed on the ground? Patrick from Lakota East.
The Mexican hat dance.
The Mexican hat dance is correct. And bonus questions for the Thunderhawks. These questions get you up to 30 bonus points if you know a little bit about insects and animals. For 5 points, Lakota East. What property of the atmosphere can be estimated by counting a cricket's chirps for 14 seconds and adding the result to 40?
The temperature.
The temperature in degrees Fahrenheit, yes. For 10 points, what is the name for a fear of spiders?
Arachnophobia.
That's correct. And for 15 points, aside from its often spectacular plumage, what other physical feature is obvious on a toucan?
A very large beak.
A very large beak is correct. Which article of the Constitution, both teams involved, begins with these words? The ratification of the conventions, Patrick from Lakota East.
The 7th.
Article 7 is correct for 10 points, and bonus questions once again for the Thunderhawks. More questions about the animal kingdom for 5 points, Lakota East. Name the only living bird that has nostrils at the tip of its beak.
The penguin.
The kiwi. Another 10-point toss-up. What body of water figured prominently in the book by John Tunis entitled Silence Over Dunkirk? Steve from Beavercreek.
The English Channel.
The English Channel is correct, and bonus questions for the Beavers. For up to 30 bonus points, answer these questions about physiology of animals. For 5 points, add the number of legs on these organisms. Add the number of legs on these organisms, Beavercreek. 2 crayfish, 3 bees, and 5 primates. What do you get?
10 plus 6.
Need an answer. 38 is the correct answer, and that's the end of our second round. Let's get to the scoreboard, see where we are. Beavercreek trailing by 15 now, 175 to 160. Lakota East still with the lead. We're halfway home. Back with more right after this. Oh, this is a good one going today. Our 2-time returning champions from Lakota East with a 15-point lead after 2 rounds over the Beavercreek Beavers. And now it's time for the rapid fire round. In rapid fire, each team gets 1 minute to answer as many 10-point questions as they can. Questions they incorrectly answer or pass on, the other team can give the correct answer and steal those points away. Beavercreek, you're trailing right now. You'll have first choice of categories. Will it be, Steve, www, iCaramba, or .com?
We'll go with iCaramba.
iCaramba it is. Here we go. You might think this rapid-fire topic is about popular catchphrases or a certain animated character, but if you've been paying attention to rapid-fire topics, you know we like to trick you. The correct answer of each one of these all begins with the letter I. So here we go. In the ancient Roman calendar, it was the 15th of March, May, July, or October.
Ides.
Ides is correct. Exactly the same or exactly equal?
Pass.
To form a mental picture or image?
Imagery.
No. Norwegian dramatist.
Ibsen.
Correct. One who leaves a country to permanently settle in another country.
Immigrant.
A northwestern state. It was admitted.
Idaho.
Correct. Water that has frozen solids.
Ice.
To regard with blind ambition or devotion.
Pass.
The state just east of Illinois.
Indiana.
Zoology specializing in the study of fish.
Ichthyologist.
That's correct. A large city, the largest city in Turkey.
Istanbul.
A triangle with 2 equal sides.
Isosceles.
What the Titanic hit.
Iceberg.
An association of colleges which includes Harvard.
Ivy League.
Correct. To seize and retain in legal custody.
Ooh. Pass.
Okay, 3 of them. 1, 2, 3, 4 that you didn't. 1, 2, 3, 4 that you didn't get. Chance to steal on those for Lakota East. Exactly the same or exactly equal?
Identical.
Identical. To form a mental picture or image.
Imagine.
Imagine. To regard with blind ambition or devotion.
Idolize.
Idolize. And to seize and retain in legal custody.
Impound.
Incarcerate.
To impound. I heard impound here first, so that is correct. Okay, here's Lakota East's turn to play. Beavercreek's turn to listen up. You'll have a chance to steal. Patrick, going to be .com or www?
www.
www. I bet you think these are all about W's, don't
No,
you?
it's about the end.
No, it's not the World Wide Web, but the answers in this rapid fire all begin with the letter W. 1 minute to answer as many as you can, so here we go. It was the site of Napoleon's defeat.
Waterloo.
A small, thin, crisp cake, biscuit, or cake.
Wafer.
He was the author of Ben-Hur.
Pass.
The site in Massachusetts where Thoreau's cabin was located.
Walden.
The football team from this high school in Huber Heights played in the state championship last year.
Warriors.
No, that's incorrect. That's not what we were looking for. A city in Texas about 80 miles south of Fort Worth.
Waco.
Correct. He was the assistant to Sherlock Holmes.
Watson.
This Austrian was a former Secretary General of the United Nations.
Pass.
John Cleese and Jamie Lee Curtis starred in the film A Fish Called
Wanda.
The Main Street of the Financial District of New York City.
Wall Street.
The fourth day of the week.
Wednesday.
A famous beach and resort area of Honolulu.
Waikiki.
The German Republic, founded in 1919 and dissolved in 1933. Pardon me?
Weimar.
That's correct. And atoll in the Pacific Ocean, administered by... Wake is correct. I heard Wake out there. That's 14 of them. 1, 2, 3 that you didn't get, so Beavercreek a chance to steal on those. He was the author of Ben-Hur.
Lew Wallace.
Lew Wallace is correct. The football team from this school in Huber Heights played in the state championship game.
Wayne.
Wayne High School, yes, they're the Warriors, but we were looking for Wayne. And this Austrian was a former Secretary General of the United Nations.
Kurt Waldheim.
Kurt Waldheim is correct, and that's the end of Rapid Fire. The game remains close as we head to the final round. 325 to 300, Lakota East on top. We'll finish it up right after this. Welcome back to WHIO. Our two-time returning champions from Lakota East looking for their third win in a row to retire, but Beavercreek trailing by only 25 points right now as we head to the final exam. Every question now worth 20 points instead of 10, so teams, if you're ready, here we go. The Davis Strait separates Baffin Island in the Northwest Territories from what landmass? Steve from Beavercreek.
Canada, Quebec.
No, that's incorrect. A chance to steal Lakota East. Nick.
Greenland.
Greenland is correct. As a result of what agreement did Neville Chamberlain mistakenly, Steve from Beavercreek?
The Munich
The
Agreement.
Munich Agreement, that's correct. What poem begins as follows? Two roads diverged, Steve from Beavercreek.
The Road Not Taken by
The
Robert
road
Frost.
not taken is correct. Here's a bonus question. Check out your monitors here in the studio. In October, he attempted to invalidate election results, which would have resulted in his ouster from office. Name this man, Patrick from Lakota East.
Slobodan Milosevic
I need more.
of Yugoslavia.
That's correct. The angles of a triangle are in the ratio of 3 to 3 to 4. What's the largest angle? Nick from Lakota East.
36.
No, that's incorrect. Let me finish the question for Beavercreek. What's the largest angle of the triangle, Becky?
72 degrees.
72 degrees is correct. The Soviet Academy of Sciences Brain Institute received a brain to be cut into pieces and preserved in paraffin in 1990. That brain formerly belonged to the man who created the Patrick from Lakota East.
Sakharov.
Andrei Sakharov created the Soviet hydrogen bomb. That's correct. Whose second inaugural address included these words? To bind up the nation's wounds and to do all which may, Steve from Beavercreek.
Lincoln.
That was Abraham Lincoln. All that may achieve a just and lasting peace. What metal, which does not rust and is of light weight, is often used in airplanes? Nick from Lakota East.
Titanium.
No, that's incorrect. Let me finish. Beavercreek, often used in airplanes, foil, and drinking cans. Steve.
Aluminum.
Aluminum is correct. An ergophobic has an irrational fear. Steve from Beavercreek.
Of work.
Of work. That's correct. I know a few of those people around here. What two-syllable term refers to a plant or animal whose parents belong to two different varieties? Steve from Beavercreek.
Hybrid.
Hybrid is correct for 20 points. The circumference of a circle is 720 feet. A central angle of 10 degrees will intercept an arc. Patrick from Lakota East.
20 feet.
20 feet. How many feet at the circumference? That's correct. 18-karat gold contains how many parts of metal other than gold? Steve from Beavercreek.
6.
6 is correct for 20 points. What national leader of the 1980s was Francois Mitterrand referring to? Steve from Beavercreek.
Reagan.
No, let me finish the question for Lakota East. Was Francois Mitterrand referring to when he said this? She has the eyes of Caligula and the mouth of Marilyn Monroe. Who was he talking about? Patrick.
Margaret Thatcher.
Margaret Thatcher is correct for 20 points. He loved good Kentucky whiskey, horse races, card playing for high stakes, and striped peppermint sticks, which he ate while listening to others in Congress. Who was this man known as the Great Steve from Beavercreek.
Ooh. Oh, never mind. Sorry.
Okay, known as the Great Pacificator. Lakota East chance to steal. Patrick.
Henry Clay.
Henry Clay is correct for 20 points. What war between the liberal government of the Second Spanish Republic and right-wing rebel forces? Steve from Beavercreek.
Spanish Civil War.
The Spanish Civil War is correct for 20 points. A term referring to the ecstatic orgiastic, frenzied, or irrational qualities of man is what? Nick from Lakota East.
Eccentric.
No, that's not what we were looking for. Beavercreek, a chance to steal. Dionysian is what we were looking for. Dionysian. What was the Soviet Union's Salyut 6? Patrick from Lakota East.
It was a rocket.
No, that's not what we were looking for. Beavercreek, Steve.
An airplane?
No, it was a space station. Rocket wasn't good enough for that answer. It takes 9 guys, 15 months to complete a certain job. How long would it take if 5 guys did the job? 25 months, 27 months, or 29 months? Patrick from Lakota East.
27 months.
27 months is correct. Which people controlled the greater part of Russia during the Middle Ages? The Tartars. Which gas prevents hemoglobin from transporting oxygen? Ravi, Beavercreek.
Carbon monoxide?
Carbon monoxide is correct for 20 points. Who wrote these lines? Some say the world will end in fire. Patrick from Lakota East.
Robert Frost.
That was Robert Frost. That's correct. Circles and parabolas are 2 of the 4. Patrick from Lakota East.
Conics.
No, that's not what I'm looking for. Let me finish the question for Beavercreek. Circles and parabolas are 2 of the 4 conic sections. Name either of the other 2 conic sections. Either one. Ravi?
Hyperbola?
Hyperbolas or ellipses. That's correct for 20 points. What is the name for each of the small bones which comprise the backbone? Steve from Beavercreek.
Vertebra.
Vertebra is correct for 20 points. A small amount of water trapped or stored between soil particles is classified as what? Evan from Lakota
Air
East.
pocket.
Pardon me?
Air pocket.
No, that's incorrect. Beavercreek, Steve.
Aquifer?
It's called capillary water. Which playwright introduced true blank verse into English drama? Was it Ben Jonson, John Dryden, Christopher Marlowe, or George Bernard Shaw? Patrick from Lakota East.
Marlowe.
Christopher Marlowe is correct. It was the first volcano to form in the Western Hemisphere since 1770. We are out of time. That buzz-in did not count. Our game is over. We'll be back to check out the final score right after this. We had to take a deep breath. That was quite a game, quite a finish. On the scoreboard, Beavercreek ends Lakota East's run at 2 wins in a row. The Beavers win 540 to 515. Lakota East, great job, 2 good wins, and best of luck to you all in the future. Next week, Beavercreek looks for their 2nd win in a row. It is a rematch of the championship game from 2 years ago. Beavercreek takes on Bell Fountain in another round of High Q. We'll see you then.